So one of the last exercise which we are going to perform is this one. That is the automation of the resource creation, that is using GitHub Actions and Terraform. Okay, IaC using GitHub Actions and Terraform. Just refer this exercise. We'll be going. We'll do this. Okay, so this I haven't deleted. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just copy it to the notepad. Yeah, I've already done this. We'll need this. And what was the name of the repository which we created earlier? I'll get it from here. So I created this AWS Infra IaC. Let's copy this as well. Okay. So what is GitHub Actions? Okay. So GitHub Actions is a CI/CD tool. Okay. In for creating anything using code. So in this exercise what we will be doing is we'll be creating a YAML file. Okay, so uh, in Jenkins we used to create Jenkins file. Here we'll create a YML file which will have different stages. Okay, so what it states, the name of the pipeline is Terraform. Okay, and on push to the main branch, whenever there is some push or changes on the main branch, a job will run. Okay, and it will run on Ubuntu latest. At the backend it will be using a container which will be Ubuntu latest. We won't have the access to it, so GitHub maintains that. Okay, so on that Ubuntu latest it will run these steps. Okay, Terraform plan and apply. Okay, so for this exercise we'll be performing these steps. We'll create a repository, okay, with the name AWS IaC. Okay, so I already have this repository, so what I will do is I'll just use the one which I've created just now, AWS Infra IaC. Okay, or we can create the new as well, but this one doesn't have a main branch. So what we will do is we'll perform the steps which are given here. Okay, so let's first clone it. So this is not given in the exercise, but you can follow the exercise as well. Create a AWS IaC, okay, and everything. But as we have already created this AWS infra, what I'll do is I'll just clone it first. Okay, dir GitHub. Git clone. So my details. Okay, so it's saying you have to have clone empty repository and it won't have the branch as well. So git branch will not show anything. So when we create some files and directories, it will create it. Okay, so we have cloned it, and now we'll let's perform the actions first. So what we will do is we'll go to settings. Okay, so go to settings, and here we need to create a secret. Okay, click on new repository secret. So we'll see here. Okay, Here just click on new repository secret. Okay, and what we need to provide here, the AWS keys which we have. Okay, so the first variable which we will keep it as a secret is AWS key ID and AWS secret access key. Both we will have to copy there. So I'll have to check my AWS keys as well. So let's copy this in our notepad. So this is the GitHub token. Okay, here I have copied. So AWS underscore access underscore key ID. So just copy that key ID here. I don't need this. Okay, add that as a secret. We can also add it as a variable, but it is recommended to add it as a secret. And the next one is secret access key. We added ID already. Now we'll add this secret key and click on add secret. Okay, so we have created this two. So now till when we are doing on our laptop, we used to export it. Okay, now we don't need to export it. It will be available in the GitHub itself. Okay, so remember we are using AWS infra hyphen IaC in exercise. There is some other repository. Now after entering the IaC, we'll clone it again. Okay, we cloned it, but in our case there is a different repository, not this one. Okay, let's go inside it. So I'm in AWS infra IaC. Okay, and it is empty as of now. So what we need to do is we just need to create a main.tf. Okay, and which will have these details, main.tf. Just save it, and we'll change the backend now. Okay, backend we need to change main.tf. I'll say my bucket is this one. It is not recommended to use the earlier one. Okay, but we have deleted the contents from it, so as of now it is empty. The tf state is empty. This was we created in the previous exercises, one of the previous exercises, and let's rename it. Means let's not save it in that same file. Let's save it in tf state 1. Okay, hope that works. Okay, and DynamoDB table will keep it as it is. Okay, and so we have a provider block AWS. We have a backend. Hope it works with this, and we'll create a EC2 instance. That's it, and we'll output its public IP. And we can add any other resource as well here. Okay, so this is done. Now we have created only the code. Okay, but we also need a pipeline. So in GitHub Actions, okay, whatever we write in this hidden directory, okay, so it has to have the same name. Okay, so if you go here on the same directory level, we just need to create a directory called GitHub. Okay, that is a hidden directory, and in the GitHub directory we need workflows directory. Okay, and we are adding -p because we need to create both the directories. That is workflows parent directory is GitHub, so it will create first GitHub directory, then it will create workflows. So both the directories we are creating.
Can you just repeat this step?
So generally whenever we need to create long directory structures like dir1, in that dir2, and then dir3, it will not work. Okay, because one doesn't exist, two doesn't exist, and we are directly trying to create three. Okay,
Okay.
so the shortcut would be just add -p so that it creates its parent directory. So that's what I have done. I've created a .github directory. Inside that I'm creating a workflows directory. I won't use this dir now. So it is a hidden directory. To check that, we'll have to use ls-al. So remember, in whenever we create a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub, so whatever is in the main.tf, that is code. Okay, but to also have a CI/CD pipeline, we need to create a hidden directory called GitHub. Okay, go to that GitHub directory and then create a workflow directory as well. Workflows, the name needs to be same, and that in that workflow will create any name, means we are using here terraform.yml. We can use cicd.yml as well, but it needs to be yml file. Okay, in that we are defining some stages, or you can say the jobs, that we are creating this CI/CD pipeline. We should not call CI/CD pipeline which has multiple stages. Okay, so I'll explain this. So what we are saying, the name of the pipeline is AWS infrastructure as a code using Terraform. And whenever you push anything in the main branch, okay, or if there is a pull request, okay, you should run this job. Okay, and it will run on Ubuntu latest at the backend. The GitHub will spin up a container. Most probably it is a container. It can be VM as well. We are not sure what they provision it. So temporarily they will provision a container at the backend. Okay, and they will run some commands. Okay, so this they use internally. Okay, so if you see, it has written check out the repository to the GitHub Actions runner. So this is the runner. Okay, so what does it have? It has some commands, like the Terraform is installed in it. Okay, even though it is a container Ubuntu latest, it should have some commands which it will run there. So till now what we used to do in Jenkins, we used to have a VM on which everything was running. So Jenkins was our runner, but in this case a temporary container will be spinned up. Okay, on that container it will check out this, which has the GitHub Actions runner, which has various commands, Terraform, or sometimes we'll use Git also. Okay, so those it will use. Okay, and now whatever we added in the secrets, that we are calling here. Okay, so how we are calling? We created this variable AWS access key and AWS secret key. Okay, so what it is saying is get the values from secrets. Okay, so the secrets which we created now, okay, this one, the secrets, it is, means what happens is AWS access key equal to value of secrets dot AWS key ID. So it will just append that key which we entered here, and it will be stored in GitHub environment. And why GitHub environment? Because on this runner, it's just equivalent to exporting the keys on that particular runner, so that when we do Terraform in it, it gets the credentials. So this is GitHub environment, but this is actually the method defined in the GitHub. So whatever we write in the GitHub environment, this is defined in GitHub, that whatever we define in the GitHub environment, it will be treated as uh, the environmental variables. So these two environmental variables will be available on that container. Okay, then we will do Terraform init, plan, and apply. Okay, so here I have written destroy, but let's change it. You all also have to change this. Instead of destroy, it should be apply. After doing the exercise, we delete it like this. That's why there was destroy. And remember, it will happen Terraform apply when we push to main. But as of now, there is no branch. Okay, if you create it manually with the readme file, it will create the branch as well. But let's see what happens. Maybe we'll have to check out the code. Means we have to run this again to trigger the pipeline. Okay, so nothing is there in the remote branch or remote repository. It is all in the local. So we have to just run these three commands: git add, commit, and push. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure if the yeah, it created a file. Okay, okay, I think we did the checkout first. No, okay. Just enter your personal access token. Okay, I need it. Okay. Oh, so this happens when we do not create a readme file. It created by default a master directory. Okay, so the pipeline will not run. So sometimes it is master and sometimes it is main. Okay, so git branch, if we do now, okay, it is master. So what we will do is we'll have to change our code. Terraform, instead of main, it should be master now. So before again pushing this code, we'll just go to the GitHub repository. Okay, here infrastructure IaC. If you see, it has created a master branch. Okay, and in that we have main.tf as well, and that is not reflecting here. Okay, so we need to check out the code again. We made a change in workflow Terraform, and we have main.tf as well, and just push the code now. Okay, so as we were in that particular directory, and from there we did commit, so it didn't track this one. Okay, so now it is tracking both the files, the hidden directory and the main.tf. So if you see, we have defined in the work GitHub hidden directory workflow, in that we have terraform.yml. So we say on push on master. Just now we push something on the master. So let's see what is happening here. Just refresh this page. Okay, we have main.tf, and how to check. So if you see here, something is running. It is saying pending. We can also check here by clicking here actions. Okay, so this is the GitHub actions, and if you see, something is running, that is our pipeline got triggered on a master branch. Okay, so why master and why not main? When we create a repository with a readme file, okay, it will create a master branch. But as we created this from scratch and we didn't add any file at the time of creating it, it created a master by default. Okay, so if you see, it is in green color, that means our pipeline ran successfully. Just click on that pipeline. Okay, if you see, the name of the pipeline is Terraform. It ran in 45 seconds and there were multiple jobs in it. Initial was setup job. Okay, so it sets the runner. So if you see here, it is giving runner information, then it checkouts the code. Okay, that is infrastructure as IaC, because whatever running, it is running in some on some system. It may be container, or it may be VM, that is called runner. So this, or it is running on GitLab runner, GitHub runner. All these things are running on GitHub runner. Then we set up the AWS keys, okay, in a GitHub environment. So if you see, the good part is, as we set it as a secret, that key is not showing on the screen, and everything is means secured. We are not exposing the keys to anyone, even they see the pipeline. If you add it as a variable, okay, then it will show the keys here. Okay, so it set up the environmental variable, that is AWS keys and ID, and it is required in the next state, that is for Terraform init. So on that runner itself, it ran this command Terraform init. There it created means there, from there it connected to the backend, okay, the S3 backend, and it was initialized. Then the plan is given. So what we can do is, after this plan, okay, we'll see that what is the plan doing. It is creating a resource. So these are the details of the resource. It is creating an AWS instance. Okay, so we come to know that there is nothing which is getting destroyed. It is safe to do Terraform apply. So this Terraform apply stage, we can make it manual. So it is also possible to make some changes in terraform.yml and to make it manual. Okay, but in this case we are automating it. Okay, then it will ask us on the screen itself, do you want to proceed, and we can say yes. Okay, but in this case we have not added it, but ideally that should be the case. That's why the plan command is given. In the plan, just check what is going to happen. If you are okay with it, an email will be sent actually. So we can add one more stage to send an email. Then the approver will see that it's okay, and it will just click on apply here. Do you want to proceed? There will be a button, and we'll say yes. And this pipeline will run, and it will create a AWS instance. So if you see, it has already created an AWS instance which has IP address this one dot 32. Let's go to console instances, and if you see, we have created with 32. Okay, so I won't take much time, just 2 minutes. So what we will do is, let's modify this code main.tf. Okay, in the main.tf, let's add one more block to create S3 bucket as well. Create S3 bucket. Okay. And what I'll do is I'll just copy it from this exercise itself. So the first one. Okay. So this block I'll copy. I'll create a random ID and a bucket. Just paste it. So we just modified the code. Okay, and we don't need to run now Terraform init plan and apply. Just push the code, and what we have written in pipeline, that whenever there is a push on the master branch, okay, just run that pipeline. So commit is done on the master branch. Let's go to the pipeline. So if you see, so it is taking the our commit as, so we added code. Okay, so it is showing here. So if you see, we can see the progress as well. So all the stages progress, just click on it. So everything is, so it created even the bucket now. So it was quite fast. So even just with the push, we are creating the infrastructure, and this is how we all do in the production as well. So go to S3 bucket, create the pipeline once, and keep on modifying the. Okay, so this is not the one. So EC2 instance was already created in the last step. Okay, so it's still there, which was having the IP address 32 at the end. Okay, so this is already there. Let's also check the S3 bucket. Okay, so my unique bucket is also created, and the TF state bucket we can also see it created one more file, and that it is maintaining the state. Okay, so whatever created it's saved here. And if you see, we followed all the best practices in it. We are not exposing the keys, we are creating properly the secret. Okay, so if you see here we created the secrets. Okay, okay, if you want to change we can change it. And if you see, that is not even visible. Okay, until and unless we can just change it now. Okay, so it is quite secure, nobody knows it. And we have not even exposed these credentials to anyone, and we have properly maintained S3 bucket as well, and a DynamoDB table. Okay, so we followed all the best practices, and this is production grade pipeline to create an infrastructure. Okay, so just practice it. Okay, so
So,
that's it.
Prayag, if suppose that pipeline is having an error, then
Just a
basically
minute. I'll just explain this last part and then I'll take your question. So what I'm doing is I'm just destroying it now. So one of the best method would be to use go to GitHub workflows and terraform.yml, and here I'll just do
change
destroy.
it to destroy.
Yeah, that's it.
So it will be destroy everything which has been created through that, right?
Yes, whatever I created, destroy the
S3,
S3 and
EC2,
EC2 both. Yes.
and when we apply that secret key, okay, that is applicable for only that Git repository. So whatever the branches will be created,
Your voice is very low actually. It's from very far.
now it's audible. Sorry.
Yeah, let
What?
me increase my volume. Yes, tell me.
Yeah, what I'm telling, the GitHub, okay, is applicable for that secret, right? So whatever the branches I will create, I should not be explicitly provide them the any secret ID. It will take automatically.
Yes, right.
And
Because this is environmental variable we have added in the uh, GitHub.
GitHub, and for that particular repo. So
Yes.
definitely it will fall. And suppose in any pipeline is being failed, okay, so can we debug it or we can,
Yes, it will show it on the screen itself that it has failed. Something is
okay, something,
failed. Yeah, then we can just modify our code and push the code again. So
okay,
if you see, it is destroying it. Okay.
right.
So once it's destroyed, it will do the post checkout that pipeline ran successfully.
And if someone is modifying